Hi, this is Junaid, Neurocritical Care Stroke and Epilepsy Specialist. Today we're going to talk about designing a home office for the digital clinician. I did this presentation last year, setting up an efficient telemedicine workspace. There has been significant updates since then in different areas and arenas, and clearly I have improved my knowledge around it as well. So let's get into it. The first and foremost is deciding on a desk. The most important type of desk, in my opinion, is a sitting, standing, adjustable height desk. I think it's extremely important. If you just stand twice a day, it is more important than not standing at all. So definitely choose a standing desk. The one that I recommend is from Trasanti. This is only available at Costco. It's extremely reasonably priced, and it is actually height adjustable. The quality is superb. It has all the features that you would need: a USB port, a wireless charger, and it is extremely well built with a glass top. Now the only issue is that it's actually a little smaller. If you can easily put on two 27-inch monitors on it, however, it could, for some people, would be a little smaller. So if you're looking for a longer desk, then I would recommend Jarvis, which is a completely customizable desk. It's a little expensive on one side. However, I would recommend for those people who require more desk space on their particular workstations. My personal favorite still remains to be this. As a matter of fact, this whole camera setup and everything is on this computer, and I can easily go from sitting to standing when I'm recording. So it's just fantastic for me as a workflow in terms of video editing. But I currently use a Jarvis as I do really need a longer space because I sometimes have 3 different monitors, 1 laptop, etc. So I use that as my workstation for now. Now, office chair. The problem really with the office chairs is that it is extremely individualized. You need to pick up one that actually works for you. My personal favorite still remains to be the budget pick from IKEA, the Marcus. It is $200 and it's fantastic. It doesn't have a headrest, but the backrest actually can be moved, and therefore it's very good. And you can use some of these other hacks that you can produce headrests from the car world, and you can put it on it, and therefore it can be a great headrest. So I highly recommend that, and I think it is quite frankly most useful for most people. But if you want to splurge, I think the best office chair would be Steelcase Gesture. This is extremely expensive. I personally have one. When I bought it, it was actually very reasonably priced. I bought it for $900, and now it's around $2,000 plus. Again, overkill for most people, but at the end of the day, you need to invest in your health, and back and headrests are extremely important. So do not skimp on having the best office chair that works for you. Try before you buy. Now, let's come to computers in general. I have been a user for multiple operating systems, Windows, Mac, Chrome, etc. But these new Apple M1 computers have literally blown my mind away. It is fascinating to see that my personal desktop machine is currently 32 gigabytes of RAM, but with 8 gigabytes of RAM, they're much faster and much efficient. So I know I'm talking like an Apple fanboy, but I would really think that these are now worth it, especially for the price. They're fast, they're quiet, reliable. I mean, turn on, turn off, it's extremely fast. And they're very efficient. In terms of laptop, they have the very good long battery life that's usable. So it lasts me full days. And more importantly, there's no fan noise. When you're having a conversation with the patient on that particular laptop, you don't have to worry about fan noise. So it's extremely quiet, and I don't know how they did it, but believe me, I highly recommend the Apple M1 line. And of course, there's reliability that Apple provides. So therefore, when one-time purchase, it lasts longer, sometimes even more than 3 years. So this is my 2 cents. And after this, clearly I have moved over. I'm waiting for the new Mac Mini, and I'll come to that in a minute. But I would highly recommend that now, especially with the M1, Apple is a very good choice. And of course, the Apple ecosystem, you can do iMessages, you can have all these systems integration. So when you are making a change on one particular aspect of things, you can easily have these changes carried over to different devices as well. So fantastic overall ecosystem approach as well, and therefore it's extremely useful. My one AirPods can work with my iPhone, my iPad, and my Mac. So it's just seamless, and therefore the experience overall is fantastic. Now, for the best desktop I recommend currently is Apple M1 Mac Mini, and this is the configuration I would recommend. 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is a unified memory. As I told you before, it is amazing that how fast it is with such low memory, and this is good enough. Believe it or not, you don't really need more than that. but I would still recommend to go to 512 gigabytes because some of these programs and some of these radiology images, etc., can take a lot of space, and I think it's better to have a little bit more space rather than 256 gigabytes. I personally am holding off for the next one, and the biggest reason in that lineup is the biggest limitation, which is number of external monitors you can attach to it. M1 you can attach 2 external monitors, but I sometimes have to attach a third one. So therefore I sometimes wait for the third monitor in that sequence. So therefore I'm waiting for the next version of the Mac Mini. But however, if you are looking for something for $600, this is just amazing value for the price, and the speed is by far unmatched. Best all-in-one, I definitely do not recommend all-in-ones in general, but if you have to buy one, if you want something that is, available with complete built-in webcam and etc., I think clearly iMac 24-inch is the way to go. I'll discuss in the monitors which size is the best, etc. But if you have to get an all-in-one, this is one option. Same thing as far as the laptop is concerned. The cheapest MacBook Air by far is amazing. No fan noise. Actually, there's no fan in it. So this is the best laptop that I have seen. And the camera is 720p. It could be improved by the end of the day, in my opinion. If you were to buy something, this is the best bang for your buck. For Windows, I think the best way to go is, at the end of the day, is Dell XPS line. I personally prefer the 15-inch because the screen to body ratio is so low that it's still much portable. A little heavy, but it's still much more portable. However, there's 17-inch available and 13-inch available, so you can choose which size you want. I will definitely not recommend 17-inch because it defeats the purpose of being a laptop in my opinion. But it is definitely a workhorse, a workstation that you can use. As a matter of fact, I actually recommend this laptop even before getting any desktop options. And the reason behind that is that with the USB-C option, which will come to the monitor section in a minute, you can just turn this into a one workstation right away. So I would highly recommend the Dell XPS series. And more importantly, I think the 15-inch has the right balance between portability and power. And the 17 actually comes with a vapor chamber, but this one I think in some of the models it does. So the cooling is not that issue anymore. So the latest version is extremely well designed, remains cool, and is fast enough. However, I would recommend at least 16 gigabytes of RAM on Windows computers. For some reason, this, again, with this amount of memory too, they don't perform as well. But the newer memory modules are better than before. So at least 16 gigabytes of RAM and of course 512 gigabytes of storage. If you have to choose a desktop, I personally like mini desktop. I don't like a big whole workstations, taking up all the space and everything. And HP line of Elite desktop is one of the best that you can do. Again, choose 16 gigabytes and 512 gigabytes of memory. I cannot recommend a specific configuration because there's so much into it and they're constantly on sale and not on sale, etc. So it's a big mess. But either way, if you have to buy something as far as a desktop machine is considered, in my opinion, this mini desktop is the best option to go. However, of course, I would still say go with M1 Mac Mini. For webcams, the workhorse is the Logitech C920. This is 1080p and this just works. It has all the things. It has a good mic. It even has a small amount of speakers that you can use in a pinch. It has a privacy cover and it just works. And 1080p is good enough. Do not go into 4K because if there's no point in it, there's no point in wasting money in it. The best way to do it is only 1080p. Don't go with 720p full HD, just go with 1080p. And I think if you have to buy one webcam, I think this is the one to go with. But I mean, if you want to splurge and have a premium, then use the face cam. The advantages are that you can actually zoom into it with the software. You can also have a low light, better performance as well. So in certain situations, this does work better. The video output is extremely well. As a matter of fact, in times I've thought that I can actually use this professional camera that I'm currently recording in and substitute it with this cam. So it is that good as far as the image quality is concerned. But at the end of the day, for virtual clinic or virtual sort of clinic desktop setup, I think this is overkill. But as I said, it's all about investing for the long run. You're not going to buy a webcam every year. This is about 3 to 5 years. And if you think this is something that is important, especially when you're also using it for meetings, etc., this might be an upgrade you want to consider. Best monitor. So first of all, let's just define what is the best monitor and how you're going to approach to it. I have always used ultrawides, but now I've looked into it, and now I personally feel the best way to do is go to dual monitors. And the reason behind it is that you can concentrate on the one screen that you really want to concentrate on. Ultrawide actually makes you lose focus, and I think this is the best way monitor to get is going to be a dual monitor setup. In my opinion, 27-inch is the right spot for your main monitor, and I personally use a 24-inch on a vertical orientation. So while I'm doing my main work on the horizontal orientation, I have the vertical orientation on the side, and that actually I can pull up images, long PDFs, other web pages that are longer that I have to read. It is perfect for what we call a reference monitor, and therefore it is easier to do that. Not reference monitor, reference material on a monitor. Reference monitor means like proper radiology monitors. So that would be my recommendation. The second and the most important thing, you need to have a USB-C on a monitor, because there's one cable that basically creates it into a hub. You can put on your USB-C dongles, your USB dongles. You can even attach your keyboards and mice with it. You can even have, now the newer ones come with RJ45 Ethernet cable, so you have a direct hardline internet connection as well. So all in all, I believe that USB-C monitors is a must. So do not buy anything that does not have a USB-C. All the newer laptops like the Dell XPS, M1s, MacBook, etc. have one connection that goes into the monitor that supplies power to the laptop, and it also gives you all these different ports. So you have a workstation that is ready to go, you bring your laptop, plug it in, and move on. So those kind of monitors are the key to buy, especially in this day and age. Do not buy anything else. Now, for the 27-inch, they're really not really good enough recommendations in the market right now as far as QHD resolution. I definitely do not recommend full HD resolution, which is too low. The amount of pixelation that comes with the text is harder to read. 4K is overkill. Do not pay for 4K. What you need to pay for is a QHD resolution, which is also called 2K resolution. This is one of my recommendations that is currently available. This also has a built-in camera. So just in case if you do not want to invest in anything separate camera setup, etc., one cable goes in with a USB-C. You hook up your desktop or your laptop and you're good to go. And if you want to use something that is cheaper, I think Dell has the 27P line. Again, unfortunately, I do not recommend this highly is because of the full HD resolution. It is not QHD resolution. But otherwise, this is actually a very good option for a 27-inch monitor. As far as if you can wait, Lenovo is going to come out with this monitor pretty time soon. They have already announced it. It's upcoming in their new releases. I have this in the 24-inch version, which I'm going to come to next. And believe it or not, the stand is fantastic. You can go from horizontal to vertical direction pretty easily, and it has all the ports that you need, and one port goes to your computer, and that's it. And you can actually attach your, a couple of USB ports are powered, so it actually literally charges your iPhone while you're sitting on it. And the stand itself has a phone stand on it too. So it's just overall the ergonomics are amazing. I have the younger brother, which is the 24-inch, and as I told you, I use that in the vertical orientation. This is also QHD, so again, reading text is much easier when you have a little bit more sharpness as compared to full HD resolution. And this has ports on the side. Again, as I told you, this is just amazing because the ergonomics and the wires become much easier to handle. So ergonomically, this is designed perfectly, in my opinion, as far as a monitor setup is concerned. If you have another choice for vertical only, will be the Dell P series in the 21.5-inch, and this is also reasonably good enough. Unfortunately, this is like the basic monitor. It's only HDMI. There's no USB-C or anything. But again, as a second monitor, especially as a vertical, that could be used. Now, when you're choosing a Wi-Fi, I think there are so many options. It has to be mesh network, and I would highly recommend the Nest Wi-Fi. It is just period reliable. I've tested a few of them, including the most expensive Orbi ones. The most important thing, as I said, is reliability, not throughput, not speed, etc. All these technical specifications just confuse you. What you need for you taking care of your patients is a stable, reliable connection. And this provides that with security. So if you have to choose anything, either choose the Nest Wi-Fi or Google Wi-Fi. Now let's come to accessories. There are multiple, again, keyboards are available. I think the best one is the Logitech MX keys. It has both Bluetooth and unifying. It can connect up to 3 devices. So with one click, I can switch from my desktop to my laptop to my iPad. So all 3 of them are connected. So therefore, this is one investment that I think is very good, and it's a long-term investment in my opinion. It's $99, but the typing experience is phenomenal on these keyboards. Same thing with the MX series. These are the two different mouse that I use regularly. My desktop mouse is MX Master 3, which has a lot of shortcuts that I constantly use, including, when I have the radiology station up, I can take a capture of the CT scan, put it in the EMR. It just makes things so much seamless. And for to-go mouse, something that is portable with my laptop, I use the MX Anywhere 3. Highly recommended, great, and it has multiple other features that, if you're using multiple stations, it can go have flow and copy paste and all that. So all around great, especially for Windows, because Mac already has its own ecosystem where you can move from one desktop to iPad, etc., especially with the new updates that are coming in iPadOS 15 and Monterey. So if you're looking for a stand, for a laptop stand, I think that is the most minimal laptop stand that I found is from MOFT. And this was just amazing to see that these stands are so great. One thing that you have to realize is that you want to make sure that the fan has the space available. Especially on Macs, it works perfect because the fan is a one line. So you have to make sure that this will go with your particular laptop and it does not cover the fan vents, because that would be a big issue. But if it does, this is the best laptop stand. It just sticks to it. You can origami fold it into a laptop elevation that is just easier to work on. And it has two different elevations, as you can see. And lastly, if you have a standalone webcam and you want to put it and prop it up so that it's at the eye level, which actually creates a better experience for the patient and the provider, you should consider getting this extension pole. All of these are linked in my blog post, or some of them will be also in the show notes. So it's best to go to the blog post and make sure you check out these links over there. Thank you. If you save a life, it is as if you saved the life of mankind. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and my newsletter. If you want to get in touch with me, the best way is to go through Twitter or via LinkedIn. Also, make sure you follow the Academy website for regular updates. Thank you so much.